Hey, sports fans, PB&Z Sports Chaos. It's Memorial Day weekend. We got a lot of stuff going on. Indy 500, little French Open, little women's lacrosse. And PB's got a nice beer going on this afternoon. What do you got, sir?
Oh, this is a good one. Discovery that I made down here pretty recently. I've only been down here for a couple of years, but this is a brewery in Boca Raton. And it's a little hard to find. It's in an office park. So you got to Google it. You got to look it up. You got to check it out. But this particular one is the Endless Enigma. It's an IPA. It's 6.4. It's a Belgian style. And I got one and kind of fell in love with it. So I picked myself up a 4-pack while I was there, saving it for the show. And now I'm cracking it and I'm going to enjoy it.
Nice. All I've got is my trusty Harpoon IPA, which I love. And of course, the friends of ours from John Dewar's company sent me a couple of these babies.
Nice. Nice.
All right. Hey, let's get right into this thing. We're going to talk about the misery in the morning we have for PB's title teams, the Florida Panthers and the Miami Heat, because guess what? There'll be no titles in Southern Florida this year. We'll get to that momentarily. And at the end of the show, we get a new segment. We call it Whose 15 Minutes of Fame in the World of Sports is About to End. We got a couple of nice little selections for you on who we think are off the radar in another 5 to 10 minutes. All right. First of all, PB, as you know, now seems to be in love with having the conversation go round and round in circles. So we're going to talk a little Indy 500. Who do you like this weekend on Sunday in the Indy 500, or Monday, I guess it is?
Yeah. There's some interesting storylines. Obviously, the fastest car out there, I think the fastest car in the history of Indy is Scott Dixon, and he's going off as a favorite right now. He's 5.5 to 1 to win the thing. So it's hard to go against that. He also has the pole position. But then you have Helio. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. Castroneves. He, believe it or not, he's going off at 28 to 1, right? You would think maybe it wouldn't be as bad because he won last year.
He's a 4-time winner.
And he's a 4-time. He'll be the first driver ever to win 5 Indy 500s if he can somehow pull it off and win 2 in a row. So that might be a good bet at 28 to 1. And then you got to like the whole Jimmy Johnson situation. I mean, this is a guy who drove NASCAR. He just started driving Indy. He's never raced in the 500, and yet he's still going off at 16 to 1. So he's in your top 5 to 10 picks for this race. So I would love to see someone like Jimmy Johnson come over and win that thing. I'd also like to see Helio win. But when you got a fast car, as long as you can keep it in control and drive the thing, Scott Dixon, man, he's odds-on favorite to win this thing.
He is. By the way, Jimmy Johnson, what's the big deal? You say they just go round and round in circles. So what's the difference? One car type or another car type, right?
Yeah, who do you like?
I like, you know what? I'm going to go with Helio. I think he wins it. I think the fast car does not always win, much like the President's Trophy winner does not always win the Stanley Cup. Actually, they never win it for that fact.
It's been a while.
Yes. All right, so French Open, let's talk about that real quick. Who do you like there? A lot of the ladies' favorites have been already eliminated as we head to the quarterfinals this weekend. What do you think?
Yeah, and Iga Swiatek, she's the number 1 player in the world, and Polish woman, I think she's got right now a clear path. I believe it's negative 120. She got to put 120 to win 100 if you bet on her to win the whole thing, and I think the next best player is something like 14 to 1. So not really being that familiar with Iga. I know she's never won a Grand Slam event. She's a young girl. She's like 20 years old, I believe.
I thought she won. I thought she won last year's Wimbledon. Was it?
I don't know.
I think she won the Wimbledon last year. She has one title.
Oh, okay. Well, good for her then. Good for her. If I had to go for a little bit of a long shot here, Paula Badosa, Spaniard. She's at 14 to 1. She's someone that could make some noise and maybe create an upset. But other than that, I got to stick with Iga.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Polish woman for our follower, loyal fan, Professor Rick. Although I wouldn't mind seeing Coco Gauff. I believe she still is not lost. She's still in there. Yep, I just see it now. Advances to the 4th round. So there we go. Coco Gauff.
Okay.
18th seed.
Yeah.
All right. What do you get in the men's world? For me, it's pretty easy. It's a guy who lost 3 times ever at this event. Nadal, Rafi Nadal. I think he beats the Joker, and he now becomes the tie for the all-time wins.
All right, so that's interesting. So Rafael Nadal has won the French Open 13 times. I know he plays great on clay. You're sticking with him to win this one. I know he's had a little bit of issues with his foot. I think we get to the finals, but the Djokovic, I know he's only won the French Open twice. He's been to the finals 4 other times, and 3 of those 4 losses were against Rafael Nadal. I'm looking for a 2020 repeat with Rafael Nadal and Djokovic. That was one of the best tennis tournaments I've ever seen, that final in 2020. I think we're going to see a repeat, but this year, Djokovic takes it.
All right, we'll see. I like the odds, 105 wins, 3 losses at the French Open. Pretty good odds for Rafi.
All right.
All right, let's get to the NHL playoffs. You got a lot of explaining to do, young man. You picked the Stanley Cup winner to be the the Florida Panthers. They got swept by their in-state rival, the Tampa Bay Lightning. What happened, sir?
Yeah, and actually, look, truth be told, I did say on the show I had the Avalanche and the Panthers. On our pool, I did pick the Avalanche just to say I kind of hedged my bets a little bit there. Because really deep down, I think the Avalanche are the best team in the NHL, even though I was just trying to pull it off with my heart too with the Panthers. Rough series. I'll tell you what, the Tampa Bay Lightning come playoff time are a scary freaking team, and Vasilevsky is a beast. That man has played now in his last, I believe it's 6 or 7 clinching games. He has 200 shots against, and he's only let up 1 goal. 5 of those
games, 7-0 in his last 7 clinching games.
Yeah, and 6 of those games were shutouts.
Yeah.
And in 1 game, he let up a goal. So it's hard to bet against this team. I mean, and then they did what they had to do. They went down to Florida. They won 2 games. They went back to Tampa. They won a couple games. They won both games there too. They deserve it.
I will say this.
They deserve it.
If the Capitals had only 1 defenseman, because they obviously had none, they had just one defenseman out of the 6 on their roster, they probably would have won that series.
Yeah. I mean, they may have beaten the Panthers. I don't think anyone's getting by Tampa. I think Tampa's whoever wins the Rangers and the Canes series, and that's tied. No, that's 3-2 Canes right now. I think that they're toast. I think the Lightning will take either one of those teams.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment, because Carolina has a dubious distinction in this playoffs. They're the only team ever to go this far, winning all their home games and losing all their road games. And they will be the home team in the next series because they had more points during the regular season.
That is correct. Right. They would be. So right now they got to go up to New York. I mean, if you had to bet money on that game, you got to go with New York. I mean,
Carolina doesn't win on the road.
Right. Yep. And then you got to come back to Carolina. And I think the Rangers have proven, though, that they're a resilient team. They were down 3-1 in the first round to Pittsburgh, and they came back and won by winning multiple games on the road. They got to do the same thing here. They're down 3-2. Take care of business back home. Go into Carolina. Everyone's going to be saying, hey, this is Carolina's game because they haven't lost at home yet. And look for the upset. I really think the Rangers can still win the series. But like I said, it doesn't matter. Either team's going to lose to the Lightning, even with home ice.
It's Carolina in 7. By the way, all their home wins have been 2+ goals, but by 2+ goals every game. So there's no way the Rangers go down there and win that game. Sorry.
And then do you think the Canes can beat the Lightning?
Yeah, in 7. They same thing. They go 4. They go 4-3. They're going to be the first team ever to win all their home games and lose all their road games in Stanley Cup history. It's unbelievable. And of course, if they go to the finals, they're going to, unless the Avalanche do not win it in the West, the Avalanche will be the home team in the West. So Carolina will have to go on the road there, and then they're done.
All right. Okay. Yeah. So still pulling for the Avs. The Avs still got to take care of business too. Their Blues are hanging on. They're playing Game 6 tonight. I believe that game's tonight.
Tonight in St. Louis, correct?
In St. Louis. So if St. Louis wins this, forces Game 7. Anything can happen in a Game 7. So I wouldn't write this off just yet. But you got Edmonton already sitting there. Edmonton did a nice job winning that series against Calgary in 5. And Connor McDavid is just playing out of his mind right now. He's got like the third or fourth most points through this point in a playoff season. only behind guys like Gretzky and Lemieux. I mean, he's on fire.
Yeah. All right. So that's what it looks like. So you think right now, if you had to say who comes out of the West?
I think it'll be an Avalanche, obviously Oilers series, and I gotta stick with my guns. I mean, I gotta go with the Avs, formerly known as the Quebec Nordiques, in that one.
I really want. I had picked a Canadian team to win this thing. I had Toronto facing off against, I believe, Edmonton, if I'm not mistaken, in the finals. So I got to stick with Edmonton going to the finals. Although I believe Colorado's probably a better team. And I'm going to go Carolina. I'm going to go out there on a limb and say Carolina gets by the Lightning by winning 4 games at home.
All right. Wait, so you got but you got Carolina and Edmonton or Carolina and the Avs?
I got Carolina and Edmonton. I want to stick to a Canadian team winning this year.
All right, so you got Carolina and Edmonton would be a great story if they win. All right, I got the Lightning and the Avs.
It's probably, and you know what? That's probably what it's going to be. It's probably going to be the series. I would like to see the other one, but we'll see. All right, NBA, not much news there. Golden State took care of the Mavericks. Luka Doncic cannot play defense. He's a whiner, and that's why he lost. Big game tonight. I believe the Celtics end this thing with the Heat, and there goes your last chance for a title team in Florida. I'm out in Southern Florida anyways. Heat have no shot to win this game tonight, Game 6 in Boston. They're going to face the Warriors. We'll talk more about that next week as the final start, like next Thursday. So, but my bigger question, and I want to talk about right now about the NBA, the Heat's biggest problem is injuries. Injuries have been a huge problem throughout this entire playoff series for every team, right? Right now, it's going to be, fittest of the survival of the fittest. PB, what is the problem in the NBA? Why do we have such an injury problem? And are they really injured? I got a theory on that.
Well, yeah. I mean, there was the whole load management thing the last couple of years, right? And that could be part of it. But yeah, it is rampant. It is rampant, and it is destroying the game a little bit.
It is.
Especially, regular season, people go to these games to see certain opponents, certain players. And when they don't play, it really just knocks down the value of the ticket. I mean, if you had known ahead of time that player wasn't going to be in the game, you probably either wouldn't buy the ticket or you wouldn't pay as much as you did for it. So it does hurt the game in that regard from a fan standpoint.
Yeah, if I was going to 1 game or 2 games and I want to go to a game where the visiting team had a marquee player, you're right, and he'd be sitting out. Here's what I think. First of all, you're right. Load management, they want to take games off. Great. Play a 62-game season. That means your salary gets cut, but guess what? I think you should be paid for playing anyways. Secondly, interesting theory here. By the way, if you remember, 80s and 90s, guys played injured all the time. I remember 1988, Larry Bird is laying on the sideline with a heating pad under his back. Remember? Before he would go back into the game. He was that hurt, but he played. Guys don't play hurt these days. And I heard an interesting theory about that. The owners have the ear of the trainers and the strength and fitness coaches. And they tell them, go ahead and tell the player you can't play. Because they don't want to lose his contract value. They don't want him to end up not being able to play full speed for the entire length of his contract. So owners are secretly telling these guys to sit guys out, even though the players think they can play.
Yeah. And you know what? It's not just basketball. I mean, you're seeing that now more even in football. You're seeing that in baseball. Guys going on now. They have a 10-day IL. They have a 15-day IL. They have a 7-day IL too, I think still. I don't know if they have that still, but not. But hockey's the only sport you got to give these guys credit. They'll go frigging get stitched up, come back out and play in the next shift. You know what I mean? It's like
we'll lose a tooth.
I love that about hockey because people do play hurt and they play injured. I know in football they probably have the mentality too, but there's just been too many rules with the concussion and with doctors getting involved and stuff where you just can't play because it's against the medical staff's advisement. But that could be the case in basketball too. But
we'll see. Hey, I will give them one little thing. Another thing I heard, they will now have awarded 3 NBA champions in the last 20 months. Think about that for a second. 3 season champions will be titled in 20 months, so less than 2 years.
Wow. Yeah.
Interesting. All right, here we go. This one gets a little fun. Speaking of people not fulfilling their career, we're going to do our little 15 minutes of fame ending for anybody in the sports world, whether it's a coach, a player, or even a media member? PB, you're up first. Who is down to their last 15 minutes?
All right, so I got two. I'm gonna start off with one that's a little bit obvious and not as exciting as my second one. But my first one is gonna be LPGA golfer Michelle Wie.
Ooh,
Here's a woman who won one major. She won the U.S. Open in 2014, and since then, really hasn't done anything. I know she's won 4 other tournaments, so 5 professional wins, but only that one major. And just to give you an idea, in 2016, she was cut from the U.S. Open. She was cut from the PGA. She was cut from the British Open. In 17, she withdrew from the U.S. Open. In 18, she withdrew from the British Open. 19, she was cut from the PGA. 20, she didn't play. She was cut from the U.S. Open again in 21. Like, this woman is not even making the cut. And she hasn't even played in every single major either over the last several years. So I think her clock probably ticked and ended a while back, but I'm saying, like, officially just write her off right now. She's done.
all right, Michelle Wie. Ding, 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 you're done. All right, I got one for you similar to that. Naomi Osaka in women's tennis. It's over. It's over. And I grant that she has some other issues. I'm not going to get into that right now. Maybe she shouldn't pay attention to social media, and then she wouldn't have those other issues. But she's done. This is it. I mean, she just got knocked out again, like by like a girl ranked 130th in the world in the French Open. We're done. Naomi, thanks for coming. See you later. All right, what's your other one?
My other one's going to be interesting. This person is a true definition of 15 minutes of fame, because the 15 minutes of fame hasn't even started yet. And it's going to start and end very, very quickly. And it's the New York Giants head coach, Brian Daboll. Here's a guy.
Whoa!
Here's a guy who obviously started his professional coaching career way back with the Patriots, right? He was a defensive assistant, wide receiver coach for many years, went to the Jets, the quarterback coach. We know about Jets quarterbacks, probably the worst in the history of the NFL. He goes to the Browns to become the offensive coordinator. While he was the offensive coordinator in Cleveland, they were 29th and 30th in the NFL in offense. Then he goes to the Dolphins for offensive coordinator for a year, then to the Chiefs. By the way, the year he was the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs, they finished 2-14. They were the worst team in the NFL. Comes back to the Patriots, the only team that would probably give him a job as a tight end coach. And, he coached Rob Gronkowski. How hard is that, right? And then he goes to Bama for a short stint, only lasts a year there. It comes back to the Bills and falls into the lap of Sean McDermott, who's been running an unbelievable team there. And I think that success that the Bills have had over the last couple, 3 years, when Daboll's been there, he's living off of those 3 years. Everything else he's done in his career prior to that's kind of been crap. So here he goes now, getting his first NFL head coaching job with the New York Giants, and they're in a bad division. They're not gonna do anything. I'm not gonna believe in Daniel Jones until I see it. It'll be interesting to see how he runs that team. So his 15 minutes of fame will start on September 11, 12, 13, whatever it is, and then it will end when the team's 0-6 and they can't get out of their own way.
Wow. By the way, I believe he had a Heisman Trophy winning when he was coaching the offense at Alabama.
Yeah.
That's all right. All right. I did not know he had that many other opportunities out there. I just knew him from the Patriots. Interesting. All right, we'll see. A lot of people are high on him, so we'll see. But that's boy, you painted a pretty good tale there. I have to say, Daboll, and of course we know Patriots assistants in the NFL as head coach, right? Bingo.
Done.
All right, I got one other one for you. All the core players from the Florida Panthers will never be in a Stanley Cup the rest of their life, ever in their lives. Take that to the bank.
Really?
Never, ever, ever.
All right.
Hey, BC Eagles, ladies, lacrosse, they're playing in the semifinals today. Defending national champions. They're playing the University of Maryland. I know we got some Maryland fans out there that love the University of Maryland. Guess what? The Terps are not going to beat the Eagles. Turtles can't beat Eagles. Come on. Everybody knows that in science. Jeez. All right, PB, we're good?
We're good. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everyone.
Yes, sir. Thank you.